Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Okay, Mr. Z got to get his rant on. I know I'm just coming in. I'm just ranting my head off. Look, it's systemic. It's systemic. Shout out to the sisters from the breakdown. I'm still listening in. I'm gonna finish listening to the commentary. I might make a part 2 to this tomorrow morning. I am Black Manosphere Show of the Week, and I should be starting in about less than 3 hours. So this is gonna be quick. This is just gonna be a rant. Hopefully I'm in and out in a maybe an hour, maybe we'll see. Anyway, here's the issue. This is a systemic issue. So the ladies play Jordan Peterson speaking about this. You got to remember, Jordan Peterson is like a motivational speaker type dude, right? He's an individualist. So he's never going to talk about systemic issues, things that need to be fixed societally, right? It's always, well, work on you, and then you won't have to worry about it. What about everybody else? Don't worry about everybody else. And that sounds nice, right? So, using Jordan Peterson as the example for this, I don't know. Anyway, so there, in the description box is a clip of Scott Galloway speaking about this to Smokonich, right? On CNN. It's about what, 3-ish, 5-ish minutes long, maybe something like that. And Scott Galloway speaks systemically about the issue, because this is more than just the black community. This is just more than 1%. Pretty much here it goes. Feminists and radical feminists won. They won. In other words, the whole goal, this is why I implore everybody to listen to Dr. Green Gorilla's video, The Decline of the Family. I implore everyone. Listen to it, please. It's like 2 hours long, but it's a good 2 hours. And if you don't even want to listen to the whole 2 hours, at least listen to the first hour. The first hour is him reading the articles and reading the arguments, right? Y'all need to listen to this. It's very important. The feminists won. The whole goal for the radical feminists and the feminists in general was to strip men of their financial providership and raise women up on purpose, not to raise women up to do better, but to raise women up so that they won't want the men. That was the whole point. That's not a conspiracy theory. Once again, that is not a conspiracy theory. The whole point of the feminists, particularly the radical feminists, was to suppress male wages and raise women's wages. That is why women are hyper focused on the top 20%. Unless, of course, you were a drop dead gorgeous man, right? Or you have the gift of gab. Outside of that, no can do for you, right? For the masses, of course. So when we speak about these things and you see 63% of men being single, some 15% of men saying they have no close friends or no friends, no real friends, these are systemic issues. You're not going to solve systemic issues by chastising the men and be like, haha, you should have bowed to us. First of all, the women are suffering too. They're just way more stoic about it. Right? The women are suffering too. They're just way more stoic about it. Number one. Number two, let's not forget the part that says pretty much more and more of the women are engaging in same-sex relationships. We should know already in the black community, because look how many bisexuals we have running around in the black community. Until, of course, the man that they wanted comes along, then they're on some man stuff. But they'll mess with a woman for a year or 2 or 3. That's why Mr. Z, when he's joking around and when I'm saying that, I tell the women, well, choose one. Go be woman number 3 for the baller dude and woman number 4 for the baller dude, or go eat some vagina. I'm not joking. Well, I'm joking when I say that, but I'm not joking when I say that. Right? See, it's funny, and it's funny to chastise the men. And like I said before, this is why I brought up all those extra celebrities a few weeks ago. This is why I brought them up a few weeks ago. I think it's because we live in this era of hyper individuality, so nobody want to talk systemic because it sounds weak and it sounds like we don't really want to deal with, work on yourself. And the clip that the ladies from the breakdown played, I heard Jordan Peterson say that already, so I heard the original clip. right? And that sounds nice. Well, the women are right, and you need to work on yourself. It couldn't be that all women are wrong. Da, 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 da. Nobody's saying that. But remember who Jordan Peterson is. He don't believe in systemic nothing, right? So of course his answer is going to be work on you as a individual. Systemic issues. What systemic issues? Feminism. Oh, that's not a problem. We just want women to vote and work and equal pay for equal work, and all of that is true, granted. But that's not what the originators wanted. What they wanted is what we have now. They wanted the separation between women and men. And so they can't really get at the men at the very top because women really want them. But they have laid waste to poor and working class men. Right? But all of our answers is on some individual stuff. Well, maybe you're batting out of your league. 60 some odd % of men are batting out of their league. Really? Maybe you're not charismatic enough. Maybe your masculinity is shaking them. Really? No. The issue is we did for women over the past 50 years. See, me and my lady were just talking about it. I was like, babe, the documentary, the Angry Women's documentary I covered a little while ago, if you really think about it, these women got what they wanted and they did it in 50 years. Remember they said they wanted the separation between men and women. They wanted men to live on one side of the world, right? One side of the equator, women live on the other side of the equator. Or what women live in the Western Hemisphere, men live in the Eastern Hemisphere type thing. Remember that they said that in the documentary. They said that. Those are women organizing like that in the 70s. Helping to pass policies and laws in the 80s and 90s. It took them 50 years, and we over here debating, well, maybe the women don't want you because you're hygiene. No. The feminists and the radical feminists got what they wanted. Now deal with it. Now we're gonna watch. We see once again. This is why I bring up extra celebrity women. We're gonna see y'all play stoic and stiff upper lip, and that's gonna sound nice, right? Where we're gonna have Pamela Anderson, Jennifer Aniston, Vivica A. Foxes, Tia Mowry's. We're just gonna have that popping off. And then as y'all get older, y'all just gonna turn into Eartha Kitt. Fine. But if men and women don't attack what go at this systemically, not on no individual basis thing. All right, fine. Mr. Z's be all right. All right, fine. The ladies from the breakdown are okay. Cool. What about everyone else? What about your kids? All right, and miss your kids. What about your grandkids? In your lifetime? No, you're going to need women to come at this too, because the elite men and their feminist counterparts decided that this was what was best. We'll just price regular men out of having families, and the women will think they're making the choice just because. All that he's done on my level sound nice for the first guy and maybe the fifth guy, but what about when you get to the 20th guy? All of these guys are not on your level? And okay, fine, let's say they're not. What was the point of feminism then? Oops. What was the point? Did you want equality, ladies, or didn't you? Because in a well-ordered society under feminism, women will be running things. But okay, we're not going to go into that. 1/3 of families, the man would earn more. 1/3 of families, the woman would earn more. 1/3 of families would be something somewhat equal. You know who got the highest divorce rate? The two families, the one with the women earning more and the one with them being somebody. You know who fought for the majority of those divorces? The women. So don't talk about no emotional intelligence. That's BS. That's not why y'all are divorcing. That is not why we're not even forming families and having children in the first place. It's the money. And women want to play stoic and don't say it because then they'll be flying in the face of all of their feminist ancestors to say it's the money. Yeah, he's cute. Yeah, that's good for some bedroom fun. Yeah, he has great sex. Yeah, that's kind of good for some bedroom fun. But what about the money? What about the status? And I'm not just ranting because of the ladies and the panel they had on the breakdown. I even went through that same CNN clip I told y'all. I went through the comments and everybody trying to, you know, put on that, infer from the interview what they wanted to. Both the men and the women, mind you. The men were talking crazy too, but the women were really talking crazy in the comments. Everybody trying to put no, it was flat. It said what it said. Scott Galloway said what he said. This is a systemic issue. We got to do for the boys, or the women are going to be screaming. It sound nice all the way. Yeah, we don't need y'all not on our level. Yeah, that sound nice. How many of y'all really like eating vagina? Oops. How many of y'all like being the side chick number 2 to the baller dude who's already married? See, laughing at working class men because they're not, air quotes, on your level sounds nice. How many of y'all are telling that the statistician or the person that's polling you, no pun intended, how many of you that are telling the people that are polling you that, yeah, I'm not gonna settle, and how many of you are telling them that y'all crying yourselves to sleep at night with your toy in your hand? Did I not have the clip in my description box of all the 50-something-year-olds complaining about being single, or complaining about, I went on this date and he didn't call back, or I'm okay being single, with the most somber, saddest face ever on their face, the saddest face ever, talking about they okay being single. Your face don't say that. So we can laugh at the men. We can tell them, no, you need to work on you. And the problem is you don't know how to wipe your own butt. And the problem is you're not trying hard enough, without acknowledging systemic issues. The feminists won. They won. And you know who's going to suffer the most? The women. The men are just going to off themselves. They're going to stay at home, play video games, pleasure themselves, watch a whole lot of porn. You know who's going to be alive and miserable, pretending like they're not? The women. And let's talk about the porn thing. The ladies on the breakdown are right. Porn is an issue. The men are using it as a cheap escape. So address it. Which you're going to either make porn illegal, or address the reason why the men are using porn as the escape route. Escape from what? A super harsh dating scene? Delusional, mean women? Angry feminists? What are the men using porn to escape from? Okay, fine, cool. The men are using porn as an escape, as an easier way out. Out from what? Think about what we're really saying. We're saying the men are using porn instead of bowing and chasing and scraping and killing themselves to appeal to an increasingly delusional woman. That's what we're saying. The ladies didn't say those words, but that's what they're saying. They don't have the drive and motivation to appeal to increasingly delusional women. We're not. By the way, I want to stress this. I am not speaking about the men that want supermodel built women who stay at home, even though this dude only earns some 25 grand a year or something like that, yet he wants a statuesque modeled woman who gives him a blowjob twice a day, and no, I'm not talking about the delusional dudes. Before we even get into that, we're talking about sane, regular to above normal guys who are struggling in the dating scene, courting someone, because the women have an astronomical view of their own value and what men should be. And so if Jordan Peterson are saying, yeah, well, the women are right, they're right, fine, let them be right. Nobody told them what being right looks like. Oops. fine then. Y'all go ahead and engage in y'all same-sex relationships. The pass around or the bust down for the baller dudes. Don't care about what the men are going through, because all through the comments and you have some women that are like, oh, that's so sad. I didn't know that this was what was going on. And the other half of the women are celebrating. The other half of the women, it's not our job to care what men or what's going on with men. Yeah, that sounds nice. Sounds nice on an individual basis. Yeah, that sounds nice. It sounds nice to run in men's faces. Haha, we don't have to care what's going on with you. Meanwhile, sister in the next room crying her eyes out. It feel good to keep on swiping left on the men on dating apps. No, 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 not interested. No, too short. Nope. Balding. Nope. Ugly. Nope. Eyebrows too close. Nope. Too pudgy. Nope. That you might get some high off of that. That sound all. This is the thing. I think because we've been raised for the past 40, 50 years under this Ayn Rand kind of hyper individualistic worldview, we really don't appreciate systemic issues. We really don't know how to solve systemic issues without an individual remedy, and it doesn't work that way. The women got to where they are from government, from society saying, you know what, let's move women a certain direction. That wasn't individual effort. Your individual effort came in after the fact. And that's what propelled you. But if the doors weren't open, all that individual effort would mean nothing. But yet we want men to solve systemic issues individually. Y'all let me know how that works in 20 years, in 30 years, in 50 years, in a century. So I really had to come in with this. Look, yeah, I got riled up. You know, I watched the scene because I've been following this, you know, for about a week or so, right? And it sounds funny, and it sounds funny to chat, hit the men upside the head. Ha ha, regular men do better. Ha ha. Ha ha, y'all are so single and miserable. Ha ha. A few of y'all are gonna take yourselves out. Ha ha. A few of y'all are gonna go on shooting rampages and then take yourself out. Ha ha. You should have bowed to the women. Ha ha. That sounds funny. It sounds nice. Because nobody doing the social math. Meanwhile, O'Shea covers the rapper sister or the entertainer, heavyset dark sister. She was on some lesbo kick. The second a man really stepped to her on some real stuff, guess what? Exactly. Right? So until we start to address these things, um, until we start to address these things on a systemic level, we're going to have these issues. And there is no individual answer to this. Because the individual answers won't catch all the men falling through the net, falling through the holes in the net. And yes, you need them, ladies. Right? Yeah, you need them. Because that affects your tax base. That affects your social security even. The more children you don't have, the more children he doesn't have, the less children are paying to that social security for your retirement, because most of you don't got no job worth a damn, no pension, no 401k, no nothing. What are you going to survive on? Oops. When you're 65, 70 time and it's time to retire, what are you going to survive on? But once again, this is what happened when everybody's myopic and nobody's thinking about this systemically. including the people that need to be thinking about this systemically the most. Black people, black women. And Big Kev says, thank you for the super chat. Big Kev says, just beat Call of Duty, World at War on veteran. That's what's up. I used to get really hyped when I used to get all gold medals on Gran Turismo license tests, which, by the way, was damn near impossible. Most of it was, not most, a good chunk of it, though, was luck. So I know. Right? Or you win a race at this by the skin of your teeth. I know. Right? So I just want to stress that, it sounds nice. The ladies and some of the panel on the breakdown, they bring up China, and they bring up Japan. Systemic issues all across developing countries. You have this. So clearly calling men's bluff isn't working. Clearly. And what you see is and it reminds me of the black woman that was in her kitchen. She was leaning on the island in her kitchen, and she was, she looked okay. I would talk to her, right? And she said something like, look at me. I just went to the club and none of the guys bought us drinks, and none of the See, y'all don't care until that happens. What men are going through doesn't matter until that happens. And even when that happens to you, you still don't get it. The ladies still don't get it when that happens to them. They just fret about it individually. They can't think of it systemic. They can't think, well, what has happened over the past 40 years, 50 years that would allow for me to go to a club and no man tries to talk to me, tries to buy me a drink, tries to, oh yeah, and why I'm saying this is, it was her and her friend. She said, me and my friends, right? So they didn't try to talk to you or none of your friends, buy y'all a drink or anything. And like I said, the young lady was attractive enough. You can't, and that's not exclusive to women. And Mr. Z been getting his lefty bag the entire week. But once again, that's not exclusively the women. That's men too, because we have been raised to be hyper individualistic. So we don't have any systemic solutions for anything. And the people that do are the BLMs of the world. You don't want those solutions, because those solutions get us right back to where we are now, which is BS Marxist talk, really, when you're about the money. Excuse me, not about the money, because that would include everybody. No, you're about your money. Translation, and once again, shout out to the brother and Dr. Green Gorilla. The capitalists and the feminists screwed everyone. But it's very overtly screwing the women. Excuse me, very overtly screwing the men. Very overtly screwing the men. The women are getting the residuals and they don't know how to act. Right? The capitalists and the feminists very overtly screwed the men. The women are getting the shrapnel from that and they don't know how to act. They're screaming. Whilst it's funny, screaming while still trying to keep a stiff upper lip and stay stoic. Talking about emotional intelligence, that's not the problem. The money's the problem. The status is the problem. Your $50,000-$60,000 in student loan debt is the problem. That empty house. Okay, yeah, women have more homes than the men do. Yeah, empty. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't count the teacup dog and the cat. Oh, and the 23-year-old that comes through once a week to knock the cobwebs out. Pun intended. Right? So, the ladies are talking, I think we miss the systemic issues. This is more than just men trying to shoot above their weight class. This is more than a lack of charisma or a lack of masculinity. This is more than any of that. This is what the the feminists wanted. This is what they wanted. Explicitly said, watch the documentary Angry Women, and women said it verbatim, said it. By the way, you had that coming out of the Angry Women documentary was based in Britain. You had the same type of dynamic with the Combahee River Collective in America. Then you listen to Dr. Green Gorilla's um um video on the decline of family. The feminists said it. Suppress the male wages, educate the women, raise the women up. The women won't want the men. Voila. And it only took them 50 years. So we need to stop acting like this is happenstance or this is because men are dropping out. Okay, fine, cool. Men are dropping out. Why? Or they're just lazy. That's it. So let me get this right. Men haven't been lazy right up until the late 20th century, and all of a sudden men just became lazy. Men haven't been lazy right up until the past, what, 50 years, 60 years? That's what we're saying. And we don't know what happened. They just woke up one morning, and men and young boys were like, yeah, no, I don't feel like going to school. I don't feel like getting good grades. I don't feel like working hard. I don't feel like contributing to the society, being a tax-paying citizen. Nah, no point. I'm just gonna stay home, play video games, masturbate. Because internet porn is the real issue. No, it's a issue. It's not the issue. And Big Kev said they'll never admit they failed boys. They will never admit it. Women got to where they are because of the system, government largesse. Think of the WNBA and the NBA. Women got there because of that type of dynamic. And Mr. Z don't even got a real issue with that as much as admit that that's how we got here so that you can adjust it before, because there's still a little window. Not really. Not really. That's Mr. Z and his hope. That's the blue pill in Mr. Z saying that. Because I know they ain't gonna fix it. They're just gonna continue to try to badger enough men to hold up the sky. Right? We got 20% of men that's kind of invested, 30, maybe 40. You know what? We have enough men invested. We just don't have them in the positions that we need them to be in. So maybe we badger enough more of them, then we'll get enough that'll strain and kill themselves to hold up the other side of the sky. Right? So yeah, it sounds nice. Look, chastising the men, telling them to do better, telling them to work on their personality, work on their diet, go work out, right? Speaking about the bitter old men that's filling the young men's heads up with all of this resentment and anger. I wish Jordan Peterson would say that to me in my face as a black man. You want to talk about resentment and you looking at the men? Not saying they not. You ain't seen nothing. You haven't seen resentment yet until you seen a woman, a black woman, a scorned black woman. Oh, I wish Jordan Peterson would say that to me in my face. Y'all be letting Jordan Peterson slide with all. I don't care what. Y'all let Jordan Peterson slide with all type of foolishness. Yeah, the older guys, they think they're giving the younger men warnings and trying to give them the heads up, but really they're what? They're really filling these young men up with resentment and anger. Not saying not saying it's not somewhat true. But let me see. For generations, we didn't have that as much. And you ask the boomers and the extra men what happened to them. Go ahead. Ask the boomer and the extra men what happened to them, particularly the older extra men, because by the time you get to younger extras, they already threw their hands up. Go ahead. So when we don't give them fair warning, they get their heads scalped, either by baby mamas or ex-wives, wives soon to be ex-wives. But then when we give them warnings, there's a problem too, because we're causing them to be too resentful, and then they don't want to go work and die and kill themselves for women that don't appreciate them no matter what. DA, I might disagree with you on a whole lot, but I agree with you on this. And DA says Jordan doesn't even believe in systemic racism. He should have been written off a long time ago. Well, people's men's egos, some of our egos, we need to hear somebody say, yeah, your real issue, you're not weak, you're not soft. Your real issues, you just need to dust yourself off and try again, because it's not systemic issues, it's you. People get off on that. I call it the destiny in hand syndrome, right? Where like nobody wants to acknowledge the systemic issues because it makes you feel weak, particularly us as men, whether white, black, Latino, Asian, or otherwise. You don't want to acknowledge that there's a larger force that's holding you down, that's holding other people like you down, because it makes you feel weak. So you would much rather put all the onus on yourself and say, no, the problem is me. That's empowering. It is. But like I say, you could say that for when an issue affects 1% of your society, maybe 5, arguably 10. But when you start working on 15, 20, 25, 30%, now they tell us 63% of men are single, which I don't know. Those numbers sound fishy to me. I don't think it's a whole 63. But either way, when enough of your men or women, we're just speaking about something being a systemic issue. When enough of a population has a major issue like this, it's a systemic issue. That's now no longer individual, right? But these weird ass motivational speakers and all these other type of people, they'll never say that type of stuff. That's PBD, that's Adam from PBD's show, that's Gary V, that's all of these type of people, right? I don't really care for neither one of these people, but that's Coach Greg Adams and Hafiz. Y'all both making the same non-systemic issue problems argument. Y'all just taking two different sides of the same side. All these people that, damn, I gotta use FD's saying. Jesus, I'm about to use an FD saying. Jeez. All of you that lack a systemic analysis, pfft. Individual answers, yeah, that sound nice. And a couple of people, it's gonna work for. Yes, it's gonna work for a couple of people, of course, but not for the masses. And it doesn't have to work for all. But if it doesn't work for the masses, it's not working. If it doesn't work for the masses, it's not working. It doesn't have to work for all. Right? So now we know what percentage they say of men are single. Okay, cool. Like Mr. Z said, we'll just go from this point on. Right? And let's see where we get from this point on. The system's going to continue to prop up the women while letting the men fend for themselves. Right? Meanwhile, that's going to bite the men and the women in the rear end in similar and different ways. And then everybody's going to prescribe individual answers. Outside of Richard Reeves, Scott Galloway, Dr. T, Dr. Tommy Curry, outside of people like this, everybody want individual answers. Because individually helping women is how we got to where we are. No. Because feminists went to individual women and wrote the individual checks and got them individually accepted to individual schools. No. If we elevated the women using government, using the corporate sector, using banking, using loans, shifting the way people think of women on a systemic level, then how do we think we're gonna do for the men on what just tell hey just do more, work harder? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's it. And DA says they're going to pay attention when young white boys act up in large numbers. It's the only way. They're already acting up. They're already they're already well, at least the middle aged and older guys already self-deleting at an alarming rate. They're already falling out off of overdosing all through the Midwest. They're already falling out of society. The largest drop off in college enrollment as a percentage was white men, white young men. All young men had a lower college enrollment rate, but the largest as a percentage and obviously as a number, because obviously white men are the largest group of men in the country, but even as a percentage of their population were young white men. So they're already, but this is why this society is trying to cop please, because they want to address that without making it seem we might have overstepped with helping the women, with doing for the women. So they want to have both at the same time, and they want to. What I think is happening, and I see it with the way Richard Reeves speaks, and I see it the way Scott Galloway speaks, and actually that's why Scott Galloway. I said, Scott Galloway. That's why you see him kind of elbow a little bit. He elbowed the manosphere. For those of you that check the link in the description, it's going to be the first link. He kind of elbowed the manosphere a little bit. All these misogynists online and yeah, okay, whatever. But you can see them being a bit preferential towards the women. They're purposely trying not to have their words misinterpreted as we need to step on the women. They're doing that on purpose. I can see them knowing, and we know if we give any space for this to be misinterpreted as we need to hold the women down, that's how it's going to be taken. Because the people that don't want to do for men, they're purposely looking for a word out of sync. They're looking for anything that they can use to say, you see, it's just educated misogynists. That's what they are. They want to see women go back to the kitchen and be barefoot. So you can see Scott Galloway and Richard Reeves tiptoeing around the subject, right? And even with that, once again, I'll invite y'all to read through the comments for that CNN clip to see the women purposely extrapolating things from the interview that was not said or implied or suggested. Because what they really want to say is screw those males, boys and men, screw them. Let them linger on the bottom. Now, are they thinking systemically about their daughter's future? No. Because all these people got main character syndrome, and they all think them and their circle and their friends and their daughters are going to be the ones that end up with the high value dudes or the dudes that are stable or whatever, right? Main character syndrome makes you think screw everybody, but I'm a win though. And pride and ego makes these people think, well, why would I want to do for a man that if it wasn't for us working on these people, he would have been on the bottom anyway. They don't believe in watering their own grass, is what I'm saying. They don't think they have to water the grass that's called men. Why would I want to work on the system that's going to allow for men to be in a better position? You're trying to tell me that this man right here that's only making 30 grand a year and, scratching and sniffing and barely making it, that if we were to rejigger this, he could be making 65, 70 grand a year and be viable, 75, 80 grand a year and be viable? No, I'd rather not. And our society has to have a real conversation about power, and whether we really think that it's only men that seek power, whether it's only men that like to step on others, whether it's only men that get off on being above others. We have to have a real conversation about what power looks like when women. And what do women look like when they're attempting to acquire power? What do they look like when they're trying to protect their position in a society, in a community, in a family, in a home? What are the tools that they use? That might be the same as men and that might be different than men. We have to have a real conversation on women saying, yeah, we're here now. And yeah, we know the masses of women are going to suffer because the masses of men are suffering, but we don't care. And that goes for even some of the women that's going to suffer, but definitely the elite women that are like, I'm good. I got my husband, I got my kids, or at least I had my kids, and I'm divorced. I'm good. I'm okay with watching all of these middle class, working class, poor men suffer. Even a little bit of the upper middle class. I'm good with watching them suffer. As a matter of fact, I get off watching it. And the women that are attached to them, oops, you're bad. Right? Oops, you're bad. We have this is way bigger, like I said. And shout out to the ladies from the breakdown. This is bigger than just men shooting above their weight class, or no, listen to what the women are saying. What did Kim Foster tell you? Even if a man made the same type of money as her, if he's blue collar, she's not interested. Now, yes, that's one woman, one 34, 35-year-old woman saying that. Or I think she's 33, about to turn 34. My apologies. 33, 34 young woman saying that. Yes, that's one. But she represents way more women than we would like to give her credit for. So it's not even just the money thing, it's a status and class thing. And when you expand that out across the country full of 330 some odd 40 million people, 330, 340 million people, you can afford to have maybe not all, but a sizable minority of your female population think that way, especially when 60% of them, when the college enrollment is 60-40 split, and college graduation is even worse between women and men. And thank you for the super chat. Big Camp says, it's like claiming to be building a great football team, but only focusing on the QBs, the quarterbacks. And the running backs, and special teams, and ignoring everything else. And that's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry, the wide receivers. I'm sorry, the quarterbacks and the wide receivers, right? And special teams, and ignoring everything else. And that's what it is. Hyper focused on, and this is, y'all ever notice, specifically now, let's hyper focusing on the Black community. That is another reason why so many of these women feel so incensed when a Black celebrity man is with a non-Black woman, because they only care about that top 1, 5, 10, maybe 20%. Now, is that all Black women? No. Most, right? So when the young lady tells Kevin Samuels, who wants to be with average anyway, there you go. It's not average men turning their nose. I despise this whole notion of average men turning their nose up at average women. That's not what's happening. It's average women turning their noses up at average men, and they're showing you, and they're telling you. Not even just showing you, they're telling you. Kendra G has had her show now for how long? The Pineapples girl has had her show for how long? How many men have looked them in the face and said, "Who wants to be with average anyway?" Y'all go ahead and put the clip in my comments. How many men have looked them in the face and said, "Who wants to be with average anyway?" How many times did we see a woman say that? A young woman, a middle-aged woman, and an older woman, excuse me, an older woman say that to Kevin Samuels. Average women, average incomes and salaries, average looks, if not even not so average. With horrible attitudes and 2, 3 kids from another dude or dudes, still tell you what you're not gonna settle for. And then Jordan Peterson got the nerve to say, "Yeah, the women are right." Y'all could talk all this gender stuff all y'all want. There's only 2 sexes though. There's only 2. And if women think they're gonna dance on watching men suffer, like the black women danced on Kevin Samuels' grave, if women think they're gonna dance watching men suffer, you got another thing coming. Not because the men are necessarily going to do something, but women are suffering from men's indifference now. It's not even a lot of men. Y'all are suffering from young men's indifference now. That's what I was trying to say when I brought up the young lady that was in her kitchen leaning over her island speaking about um um the men not buying her drinks or not trying to talk to her and her friends. Y'all are suffering from men's indifference now. How long you think you could do that? How long you think you could deal with that? Somebody here is gonna have to swallow their pride, and it ain't the men. Yikes. No, ladies, you're gonna have to do for men. You're gonna have to fight the elite for men. Not by yourself, of course. You're gonna have to help to rejigger this for your own sake. Fine, you don't care about the men. For your own sake, you're gonna have to do for men and fight with the men. The elite capitalist dudes and the feminists screwed working class, everyday, middle of the road men, definitely poor men. Poor men been out the conversation for forever. You better hope you got the beauty genes or you got the gift of gab. That doesn't mean you're not gonna get anything, but But if the ladies think they're going to continue to point at the men and laugh at them, ha ha ha, loser, then they have to deal with the repercussions of that on the other side. Because I fundamentally think the women aren't paying attention to the fact that they're laughing at about 8 out of 10 men. They're calling about 8 out of 10 men losers. And that sound nice and might be a good ego boost. And then you go back home to your Lifetime movies and your homegirls and you loud talking on the phone and to your toy with the double D batteries and to your ice cream and to your cats and to your teacup dog. Meanwhile, you're laughing. Ha ha. Kevin said that we was gonna die alone. Ha ha. Who's the one who died? Ha ha. The men are the one who's self-deleting. Ha ha. Yeah, they're gone now. They're off this plane. They're off this planet. You are here for another 20, 30, 40 years, possibly miserable. If we're gonna call a thing, understand what elite men did. They crushed working class men, got you into the workforce even heavier. For black women, they were already in the workforce, but even more, and then had you doing all the work. And occasionally they'll pipe. Oh, by the way, they're paying you less because you're working less. You keep on having to take days off because they're working you to the bone when you're actually there. And Trell Bentley says, women really don't want men to go the route of indifference. No, they don't. No, they don't. And notice what we're saying. We're not saying men attacking women. We're not saying men being mean to women, right? Who was I listening to? And they were covering the story of the was it let's just say a white content creator. We'll just say his initials are BB, right? And he was covering a story of a young man that I guess he works at a firm or something like that, some enclosed place, some place with cubicles or whatever, office somewhere. And he would be very cold to the women. When I say cold to women, very businesslike, no laughs, very minimal conversation. He was cool with the dudes, but he kept it straight business with the women. And all the women feel a certain way about it. To the point where one woman actually wrote about it. And they want to go to HR. Imagine complaining to HR about this. Yeah, he's not friendly enough with us. He's disrupting the environment because he's not laughing with us and he's not joking with us and he's not doing more than just his work with us. Imagine. Now imagine that coming from 25% of men, 30% of men. You don't need all. You don't even need most. Imagine a good third of men doing that. See a woman about to fall, you don't try to catch her. See a woman who got a flat tire, you don't stop and help her. Woman's car breakdown, you keep going. Something fall off her cart in the store, you just keep going. She drop her phone, she doesn't hear it, you keep going. You're at work, she tries to make small talk, you make even smaller talk. Right? You treat her like your uncle that you know got a bad drug habit. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, I gotta go. I'll holler at you later. I gotta go see my mom. So, like I said, y'all want to know why so many men and you know, once again addressing the porn thing. Yeah, porn is a issue. Yes, it's addictive. Yeah, there's certain chemicals that fire off, right? When you fire off, haha, right? And it's easier than to get up and try to chat a woman up or to date or to court, of course. But what is so glare for Jordan Peterson and for the ladies from the breakdown to like ignore how insufferable so many women have become, either on some super glamorous I need to be pampered every day thing or on some feminist kick, either or. right? To ignore that part. And for Jordan Peterson to say, well, the women are right. Bro, you've been married for how long? You're not in this scene. And you're an old white dude. You probably could still come back in the scene and not have to work too hard. You've been married for how long? How's your daughter doing? Oops. Yikes. Hmm? I ain't. Last time I checked, Jordan Peterson's daughter isn't doing too great. All that conservative talk, all that do for self talk, ugh, right? All of these types, the Ben Shapiro's, and his sister, right? Jordan Peterson and his daughter, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, all of them. The dude with the eye patch, I forgot his name. Right? Right? Thank you. That's why and Indigo Flow says that's why the he doesn't like women thing tickles me. Who talks about how likable a lot of women are not? No one. No one. We talk about men being jerks, and the ladies from the breakdown brought that up, right? Pompous a-hole men. You're accomplished. You're intelligent. You may be good looking and whatever, and you're arrogant. You're pompous a-hole. Yeah, we've met those dudes. Men meet those dudes too, right? But what about the women with the same personality archetype, and they're not even good looking like that? They're marginal or even unattractive, and they might not even be accomplished. And that actually might be a good thing because if they were accomplished, they would be even worse. Right? So, I just had to come to y'all with this. I'm about to end it out. It's about to hit an hour. Because I'm Black Manosphere show of the week today. For all of you, we're doing car talk. I still want y'all to come in, even for the brothers that's not really into automobiles. I have a list of questions. Check the description for that video. Yeah, check the description box. I have like maybe 10 questions, and I'll just be bringing people on to answer. And it's just gonna be fun times. We'll be talking about car stuff, and yeah. But I had to come to y'all with this because I was frustrated. And I wasn't angry or mad at the ladies from the breakdown. Once again, it's a woman's perspective. That's what they say. So, that's understandable. But for us to continue to go back to individual, these people did a number on us. Ooh, they did a number on us as a society. I mean, not just only as Black people, as a society. We got to work on yourself as an individual. You have to work on yourself as an individual. But when you start seeing numbers like this and you still talk individual, right? Right? And it's not even something that's exclusive to America. This is all across the developed world, creeping into the developing world also. When I said the feminists won, they got what they wanted. It's particularly the radical feminists. Do I need a link again? You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share Dr. Green Gorilla's um the decline of the family. I was trying to get him on this Sunday. Maybe I got to work on it for later on. And that was on me. I fumbled the bag on that one. I wasn't being consistent on trying to get him in. And also I need to share the documentary Angry Women so I can hear these women verbatim tell you what they were looking for. what world they wanted. Tell you about leaving their children behind with their husband, and they were in a loving relationship with their husband, but this was so real to them they left their children because they had a son and they didn't want to take the daughter and leave the son. Maybe y'all need to hear this for yourselves so you can see that you can't solve this individually when the issue started systemic. And DA says the feminist you posted in your videos, yes. Give me a second, DA. I'm trying to highlight your comment. It is not coming up. There we go. And so when y'all hear me say some of this I blame on the women because they're going along with it, and some of them are enjoying it and they think it's fun, ha 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 ha. But on a systemic level, for the masses of women, no. Now I do once again, Mr. Z always say you need to be held accountable for what you believe and what you go along with, quite frankly. But this is this is strange, disgusting, toxic bedfellows between white hyper capitalists, white neoliberals, not liberals as is left leaning, liberals as in market based valuation of everything, free market everything, right? And feminists. And you got people like FD on one side, and then you got people like Jordan Peterson on the other side telling you to ignore what the hell you seeing or to play it down or it's not that serious. No, bro. No. FD telling you drop the money. Jordan Peterson is telling you get your money. And all of that sounds motivating. That's why a lot of people, a lot of men, particularly, they are drawn to that. They're drawn to, no, just work on yourself, and the women will be falling all over you. It sounds motivational. It sounds inspiring. Right? And I put money. They kicked me out, everybody. They kicked me out. I'm back. I'm back. But as humble as I purport myself because that's what I really am. I guarantee you, like half the people that listen to Jordan Peterson, I probably earn more than them, both in America and in Canada. Put money on it because he's trafficking on an old, tired, do for self truth, even through the flames of systemic problems. Right? Earth, you see me? Earth say, damn, I tried to highlight comment and it's not coming out. Yeah, I'll have to end it out in a minute because I don't know what's going on with words and I'm gonna figure it out because I'm trying to highlight Earth's comment. Well, let me read it. And Earth is they are the assistant warden of prison system. Yeah, and they enjoy it. And for those women, then you deal with what you deal with. If you're low Okay, they trying to get me out of here, y'all. They trying to get me out of here. All right. Let me. Yeah, they get Trail. Yeah, they got me. Okay, let me hear up and read Gil Gammy's super chat. And Gil Gammy says greetings to all for the social worker. And man, oh yeah, I know y'all lost me. I don't know what's going on. It keeps. I'm in the same spot I'm always in, and for some reason I keep on getting disconnected. Like I don't know. Right? It's actually kind of frustrating because this is a serious topic. And let me leave Gil Gammy's comment up for a little bit. Um, yeah. So at the end of the day, I like I was saying, funny until you get some vagina, until you've been regulated to that, and or and like the okay, I bring the story up all the shuffle through. Maybe somebody could, if y'all remember which episode it was of Kevin, maybe somebody can put it in my comments for this video. But the video with the heavier set, she was heavier set. Light skinned, kind of middle aged black woman was talking to Kevin. And she was a bit kind of pompous, to be honest. But she was saying, she goes out with her friends who are even older than her, maybe in their 50s, and she still wants a man. She actually made a video on her own later, but she was saying something like she still wants a man, but the other women that are her air quotes friends that are older than her, they have pretty much resigned themselves to being single. Even though she could tell they want somebody also, but they're not going to work on themselves to find a man. Like when I hear women dancing on the struggle, like dancing, watching men struggle, right? I think of that, especially since that video aired with Kevin speaking to that lady. I think of that, right? Like the women who are fronting like they're okay when we all know they're not okay. Like Lonnie Love before the white guy, right? Right? Like I think of that. And I think of how difficult it is to dig yourself out of that loneliness, because just because you're single it doesn't mean you're lonely, but still, how difficult it is to dig yourself out of that loneliness when you can't even admit that you're lonely because you don't got a man, or that you're insufferable, or that you're mean, or that you're catty, or that you just be doing too much. Like, how do you get to that place when, number one, none of your friends tell you this because all of y'all are so super codependent now because y'all all y'all got, and you're not engaging with men enough for them to tell you that anyway. And even if you were, most men take that home. Most women, when a breakup happened, they still don't know what was wrong with them. I've heard women say that. Y'all don't even tell us what's wrong with. First of all, I don't believe it, but y'all know what's wrong with y'all. But yes, a lot of men just be like, I'm over it. Right? And I'm saying all that to say is this is how we get to 65%, what, 63, let's say 60. I still think something's weird about those numbers. That's how we get to 60 some odd percent of your male population being single. The feminists got what I think I'm going to end out on that note. Let's end out on that note. The feminists got what they wanted. Right? The feminists got what they wanted. The radical feminists definitely got what they wanted. And I'm glad that that Angry Women's documentary is online. At least it was, right? I'm glad about that. I'm glad, once again, shout out to Dr. Green Gorilla, that he covered what he covered with the decline of the family. The women they're saying it. So no one can say, oh, Mr. Z, you're a conspiracy theorist and and misogynist, and nope, they said it. Right? So on that note, you know, we'll end it out there. Shout out to the replay gang. Yeah, I just had to say that. And to the ladies, this is bigger than just, and when I say the ladies, I'm specifically talking to the ladies from the breakdown. This is bigger than just men shooting above their weight class, men not trying hard enough, men wanting, like I said, some supermodel that's gonna, give him BJs all throughout the day, and Yeah, it's more than that. This is a systemic issue. This was done on purpose. It's not happenstance. You know, yeah, this is way bigger than just loser men who have become recluse because they don't want to come out here and compete, and so they rather stay home and watch porn. The porn is there as a substitute, right? And there you go. And on that note, I'll end it out. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So, love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll pause right here. Y'all will see me in like all of an hour and a half with the car talk. Y'all come through for the car talk. I know not all the brothers in the manosphere are into cars and the black manosphere are into cars, but y'all still come through, make some jokes, and Mr. Z is gonna be getting litty anyway. So yeah, I already prepared my lady to be that I was gonna be loud. So there's that part too. Um, and y'all come in and make fun of cars and like I said, check the and actually y'all can make suggestions for questions also. Check the description for the video for Black Manosphere Show of the Week. And you know, I'm just asking random questions and stuff like that, and I might play videos and tell y'all how I got into cars and everything that. So on that note, we talk about more than just the women because we do. Um, and on that note, we'll end out right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll pause right there. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, I guess, for the next hour and a half, and and other non-Manosphere content, so that y'all can get a systemic understanding of these things, right? And that's why I say the type of things. That's why I always end with also watch other non-Manosphere content, right? Mr. Z's YouTube history is all over the place. I look schizophrenic, right? I'm telling you. And Ete says, when are you doing the car talk? I'm Eastern time, so it's 7 o'clock for me. So in the next hour and a half, it starts at 7 for me. So if you're if you're Central time, then it's gonna be 6 o'clock for you or whatever. Yeah. And if you're Western time, I think it's what 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I don't know how far you guys are. Are you 3 time zones away? Yeah, something like that. Right. So on that note, I'll pause right here. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. For those of you that's not gonna be part of the car talk, but and for those of you that plan on being there, it's about an hour and a half away. 7 o'clock Eastern time, I think 6 o'clock Central time. All right, you guys. Mr. Z out.